The Zohar teaches about the power of reciting the Kaddish which is mentioned in the davening, Yitkadal Vitkadash. This praise of Hashem is so powerful that the wording of the Zohar is that it breaks through all the iron doors. It goes through all the doors of Dalte Parzela, it's in Aramaic, doors of metal. It breaks through all the doors and goes to such a high place. Because of that, the Kaddish is something that you're allowed to answer to at any point in the davening, except for obviously when you're in the middle reciting the first verse of the Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. There you're not allowed to interrupt for the Kaddish. But any other place, even places where you're not allowed to say anything else, you must, it's a mitzvah to answer the Kaddish, because the praise and the power of the Kaddish supersedes any other prayer. Of course, when you're in the middle of the Shmoneh Esrei, the Amidah, you can't say anything because you're in a different world at the time of the Shmoneh Esrei. But any other time of the davening, you're allowed to answer the Kaddish. It goes super, super far. This also now explains what's called Kaddish Yatom, that an orphan, he has the mitzvah and the obligation to say Kaddish over his parents for 1 full year. To explain this phenomena, that all of a sudden a regular person who does not say this Kaddish turns into a person who can say this Kaddish, indicates an extra feature of power infused in this person, this Yatom, this orphan, to be able to say the Kaddish. To explain the idea, based on what Rav Nosson writes, Rabbi Nachman teaches in lesson 66 of Likutei Moharan that there's this concept called Pishnaim Beruchacha, which means that if someone is present at the passing of a tzaddik, a true tzaddik, he's present at the time of the passing of this true tzaddik, this disciple, this person, can receive a double extension, a double portion of the soul of the tzaddik going upwards now. The tzaddik is going up and people remain behind, right? So the influx of energy coming to take the soul of the tzaddik up, it stays down by these people who were there at the time of the passing, and they have it added to their personal spiritual feature. Now Rav Nosson explains this also applies to a parent, from a parent relationship to the child. That even if not being present, just being a child of my parent, when my parent goes upwards, so the child also gets a special enhanced power and force from the neshama of the deceased parent. And this additional power is what gives the ability of the orphan to be able to have the merit to say the Kaddish and to have this special feature of the Kaddish which breaks through all the doors and reaches the highest of levels. This is given to the orphan because he inherits the additional added light and power force given to him through the passing of his parent, just because he is the child. He is the child. A parent has their personal soul relationship between them and God and Hashem, but a parent also has their personal soul relationship between them and their child, which explains the constant bond that the Torah requires between a parent and a child. A child is obligated to respect the parent their whole lifetime, and even after the passing of the parent, the child must continue to respect their parent, not to curse them, not to insult them, to do all the proper respect even when they're alive, even more so. So there's this connection between the parent and the child, and this connection is infused into the child after the passing of the parent, and this is what gives the child the ability to say the Kaddish. What you see from this also, a side point, is that Judaism is so beautiful. Judaism is with the concept that there is always hope and there's always good. That even when a parent passes, it's not, oh, it's the end, it's over, it's so sad, we had such good memories. Judaism is a constant message of hope, Just like in this case, that the child is infused now with the energy of the parent, it's as if the parent is still alive through the child. And he continues to be able to emulate the positive power of the parent. Obviously, where that's applicable, where the child wants to follow pathways of goodness and righteousness and wants to help and do good, this is the case, obviously. But you see this message also of hope in Judaism, and there's never despair. Even when death befalls a person, there is for sure hope.